When you are first starting your lawn care business, it is imperative, it is so important that you focus on your mowing, your estimating, getting that dialed in, and getting that super efficient, okay? One of the biggest mistakes people make is in the beginning, they try and do everything, they say yes to everything, and it screws everything up, okay? I've preached that from the beginning since I started this channel, because it's been one of the absolute best things for my business, was we got laser focused on the mowing and maintenance, and that built our company. But let's talk about what you can do once you have got that squared away. At some point, you will either decide to stay completely solo, add employees, or grow your lawn maintenance stuff, or maybe you'll look at adding landscaping or something else, or another type of service. The thing that I want to talk to you about is, in particular, adding landscaping services to what you're doing mowing wise. And I want to give you an example of something that happened just last week, and it should be a warning for everybody. So I had a prospect reach out to us because they needed their flower beds redone, and their current lawn care service provider, they did not offer that service. It was actually a project that I showed in another video. I'll see if I can't find that and just show you guys the project that I was talking about. But their current lawn care service provider, and again, if you watch the channel, like, I'm sorry, it is what it is. But let's just call it what it is. Their current lawn care service provider, they did not offer any type of landscaping services. So the client had reached out to me and said, hey, we need to get our flower beds done. They're an elderly couple. They're tired of looking at weeds in their flower beds and the hedges, and they wanted like a refresh. They wanted like a new design on their flower beds, and they say, hey, can you help us with that? And I said, yes, we can definitely help with that, but something that we need to have a conversation about is what happens after we do this landscaping for y'all. Like, who maintains these beds? Like, it is Florida. You are going to get weeds. Like, these hedges at some point are going to have to be trimmed up. Like, even if we put in low growth stuff, like, bed maintenance is a real thing. There is no set it and forget it flower bed. And, you can say what you want. You can install the weed fabric, put down rock, and do all the things. But I've seen weeds growing in cracks in sidewalks. So don't tell me, like, I've done this long enough. Weeds are growing to grow in the flower bed, and they have to be maintained. So that's the conversation that I had with the client. They're like, well, our current lawn care service provider, they don't offer any of that. And I said, look, I'm going to be completely realistic with you. We're going to do this landscape job. You're going to be thrilled with it. And then in about 2 or 3 months, weeds are going to break through at some point, and they're going to need to be maintained. And unless you have a maintenance plan in place for these beds, then you're going to be in the same spot again with just a flower bed that looks absolutely horrible. So they said, hey, we know that you do lawn mowing and you do maintenance and you can maintain beds. Would you be willing to give us a quote for taking over the property maintenance? Now, part of me is like, man, that sucks. Like, I know somebody else has been working on this property, but the flip side of that is, like, there is a need that this elderly couple, this elderly client have, and their current service provider is not meeting that need. Like, they have something that needs to get done, and it's not being done. So we come in and are able to offer that. You know what happened? We ended up taking over the entire property maintenance. What's crazy about that is we came in and did that landscaping project and profited more in that one. The profit was more than an entire year worth of mowing. So think about that from the other lawn care service provider. They did not offer a service that their elderly client needed, and not only did they miss out on an entire year's worth of profit from honestly a fairly simple and basic tear out and refresh. There's nothing elaborate about this, but it was an entire year's worth of mowing. It was more than an entire year's worth of mowing profit done in one day, and honestly about 5 hours. So not only did they lose out on that big payday, that big home run, if you will, but they also lost the maintenance on the place simply because they were not able to meet the needs of their client. Now, let's backtrack for a second. Suppose you are just starting your lawn care business. You need to focus on getting the mowing and maintenance. Like, you need to get that thing ratcheted up. Like, you really, really do. But this needs to be a cautionary tale, I guess you will, that we cannot indefinitely pigeonhole ourselves to mowing and maintenance and just completely turning away all the other things that people want done on their property, in particular maintenance. Now look, I'm not saying that you need to offer irrigation repair to all of your clients and you need to do paver patios and retaining walls. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that basic maintenance services like flower bed work, keeping flower beds maintained and hedges trimmed, and like pruning crepe myrtles and like doing some basic landscape stuff, man, you need to be offering that to your client. Not only because we're letting them down whenever we don't do those things for them, like they need it. Like they need that service. They're willing to pay you a lot of money to do it. That's one thing. The other thing is again, I go back to, you can literally make more. You can make an entire year's worth of mowing profit in one basic landscape job. And I always get the question, well, why don't you just do landscape full time? I would never give up the maintenance. I would never get to, we got 200 something clients that I get to market to for landscaping services. Like, my phone rings all the time for landscape stuff from our current clients because I have them as mowing and maintenance clients. And again, you do the landscape installation, somebody has to maintain that. It's recurring work all throughout the year. So my homework for you would be this. Take a good hard look. Be honest with yourself where you are at with your company. Like if you are a solo guy, or maybe you have a guy and a helper, like what are you doing right now that you do really, really well? What service can you offer that has the biggest payoff? It helps your clients the most and puts the most money in your pocket. I would bet that is probably adding basic landscaping stuff to what you're currently doing. Again, I'm not telling you to go and invest in a skid steer and go all in with dump trailers. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we got to stop letting our clients down, because one, we're letting them down, and two, we are leaving over half of the profit on the table by not doing these basic landscape jobs. Stretch yourself a little bit. You deserve better, man. Like, offer a service that packs a big punch. I think it's going to be just some basic landscape stuff. Stop turning that work down, man.